Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, entitled Punishment and Reward of Kali, Text 21. Sutta Vacha Evam Dharme Prabhadati Sasamrad Vichasattamah Samahitena Manasa Vikidah Paryachashtatam. Sutta. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. Sutta Goswami said, O best among the Brahmanas, the Emperor Parikshit, thus hearing the personality of religion speak, was fully satisfied, and without mistake or regret, he gave his reply. Purport. The statement of the bull, the personality of religion, was full of philosophy and knowledge, and the king was satisfied, since he could understand that the suffering bull was not an ordinary one. Unless one is perfectly conversant with the law of the Supreme Lord, one cannot speak such things touching philosophical truths. The emperor, being also on an equal level of sagacity, replied to the point without doubts or mistakes. The translation of the verse again. Sutta Goswami said, O best among the Brahmanas, the Emperor Parikshit, thus hearing the personality of religion speak, was fully satisfied, and without mistake or regret he gave his reply. Hare Krishna. I'm very happy and honored to be with all of you here in Soho Street. So, here is very interesting verse in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Maharaj Parikshit encounters a very interesting scene of a bull being beaten by some miscreant, rascal, dressed as a king. Yes, and this verse has two kinds of applications. First is on the personal level, and one is administrative level. Yes, because we can see when Maharaj Parikshit was trying to figure out who is this person who was responsible for beating the bull, Dharma, the personification of Dharma. The bull answered in very peculiar way. He said that he cannot ascertain who is really the culprit, why he's suffering, because different philosophers have different ideas who is responsible for our suffering. And as you could hear in these previous classes, the personality of religion said that some say that everyone is himself responsible for his own happiness and distress. Yes. We have a saying in Slovenia, however you make your bed, so you will sleep. Yes. So it's in this way you're responsible for your own happiness and distress. And also we are responsible for our perception of reality, of environment. For example, Sridhar Maharaj, ISKCON guru, once said that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So it depends on our perception of the circumstances. Are we suffering or not? And then he said that others say that it's beyond our control. In some superhuman power, our suffering and happiness depend on some higher cause that we cannot ascertain. And then that others say that's all karma. It's our work. What we do, we suffer the consequences of our work. And then there are materialists who say everything is depending on nature. So it's difficult to say who is the culprit. And Maharaj Parikshit, immediately he was able to understand that this was not an ordinary personality, this bull, that he's a special personality, that he's a personality of dharma. And we know what is real dharma from 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam nave vidur rishaya napidavaha nasida mukhya suramanushyaha kutono vidyadara charanadayadaha. Yes, that no one can know what is dharma. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. It's explained only by the Lord. The Lord is the one who gives dharma, who establishes dharma. Yes. And then only Mahajanas know what is real dharma. So, Mahajana yena gatah sapanta. So, if we want to follow dharma, we should follow great souls, Mahajanas. Yes, and it's interesting here. But Maharaj Parikshit was not in the position to guess who is the culprit, like the bull was guessing who is the culprit for his suffering. He was in a different role. He was in the role of a king, of a protector. So his duty was to punish the culprit, to know who is the immediate cause of suffering. Because we can see in this world, we can point out different miscreants and rascals who are leading different governments and leading the society from behind the curtain. But these are just immediate causes, and there are other causes behind them, like it's Kali Yuga, for example. And it's natural that the rascals thrive very nicely. Yes. So we can also guess who is real to blame, but not the one who is in power. He shouldn't guess. He should find the immediate cause of the suffering of others and protect the citizens, yes, or his dependents, we can say. It's also the role of a father or temple management and so on. Yes. So we should be very careful. And but in the next case with Maharaj Parikshit, he didn't protest or punish, for example, Shringi, because he was attacked personally. So we can see the behavior of great personalities. Here the personality of Dharma didn't protest that he was mistreated by this personification of Kali. And Maharaj Parikshit didn't protest when he was cursed by Shringi. But when it's about protection of others, he was ready to kill the personality of Kali immediately. So if others are mistreated, we shouldn't be aloof. Yes. We should punish the culprit immediately if we are in the position of doing this. We shouldn't play a saint in this setting. Yes, we should be very strong in our service, because we are always the servant. This is the point. We are a servant in every circumstance. So when we see that something is happening to us that is maybe we can interpret as an injustice or anything, we can take it as Krishna's mercy. Tate nukampansu samikshamano bunjane vatma kritam vipakam hritvakva purbir vidadanamasti jivitayo muktipati sadaiva. That a saint understands, yes, whatever is happening to me is just Krishna's mercy. It's for my purification, that I can approach Krishna more quickly. Yes, because if Krishna will not help me, would not help me to approach him, then I wouldn't have any hope. I would try to be implicated in this nature and try to enjoy. But Krishna is teaching me that there is no place of happiness. Dukhalayam shashvatam, he explains to Arjuna, that this place is full of misery and it's temporary. This is in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad-gita. And in 9th chapter, he explains that anityam asukam. He uses two different expressions for exactly the same thing. Anityam, it means it's temporary, and asukam means without sukha, without pleasure. Yes. So one who is searching for happiness in this world, he'll suffer. That's the law. And it's also explained by Maharaj Prahlad in 7th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya sankalpaiha karmana sadapnotihaya dukkham anihaya sukhavrita. That karmis try to enjoy this world. They take severe vows, very strong vows, sankalpa. Yes, I will find happiness, sukhaya, and I will be free from misery, dukkha mokshaya. Dukkha means suffering, and moksha, of course, is liberation. I will be liberated from my miseries. But what is the result? Sadapnoti haya dukkham. Sada means always. So, always they get misery, just misery. Sadapnoti haya dukkham. Anihaya sukhavrita. But those who don't search for happiness in this world, so that means that they connect on some higher level with Krishna, they're always enveloped in happiness, covered by happiness. So this is the recipe or formula for happiness, not to seek material pleasure and happiness, yes, but to connect to Krishna. And it's interesting, in few verses after this one, it will be explained that there are 4 legs of religion. Tappak shaucham daya satyam iti pada krite kritava. Adharma shet traya bhagnaha smaya sangama daishava. That Parikshit says to the personality of religion, to the bull, that in Satya Yuga there were 4 legs established: Tapak, Satyam, Daya, and Shaucham. Tapak is the first one, is austerity. And actually, if we look deeply in austerity, all other forms, Shri Radha Landanishwara ki jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai, Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Nitai Gaur Paramanandi. That all these legs of religion are based on tapa. When you destroy austerity, you practically destroy all religion. And it is explained by Krishna himself in 17th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, when he explains this three kind of tapa. It's Deva Dvija Guru Pragya, Pujanam Shaucham Arjavam, Brahmacharyam Ahimsacha, Shariran Tapa Uchati. And the first austerity is the austerity of the body. And he says, Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam, that we should worship our superiors and the Lord, of course, in the first place. Deva, we worship the Lord, now we worship the Lord. And the Brahmanas and our superiors. And Shaucham, he explains. Yes. And one of the legs of Dharma is Shaucham. And Shaucham is included by Krishna himself into tapa, in austerity. Shaucham. Deva Dvija Guru Pragya, Pujanam Shaucham Arjavam. And to be very simple living, high thinking is our motto in life. So we can see. And Brahmacharyam Ahimsacha. Ahimsa is a form of daya, of mercy. Not to be violent. Not to be violent. And it is explained in other shastras also that this ahimsa is not absolute non-violence, because we cannot be absolutely non-violent in this world. Not possible. By every step we destroy so many living entities. By every taking our breath we destroy billions of living entities. Just by living we destroy so many living entities. But they say nati himsa, not too much violence. Not too much violence. So unnecessary violence is forbidden. Yes, nati himsa. Nati himsa. But we should, especially the king, should be violent. He was trained to be killer. For example, Arjuna is considered very saintly personality, Krishna's personal associate, and a great devotee. But he was a merciless killer. Yes. For example, if we remember this lila of protecting, in fact, not protecting from rain, Kandava forest, to be consumed by fire. Once Agni approached Arjuna and asked him, I had digestive problems because there were too many yagyas and I consumed too many ghee, too much ghee. So please help me, because in this Kandava forest there is medicinal herbs are growing, but whenever I want to consume them, Indra comes, because he considers this his forest, and protects the forest by sending rains, and I cannot consume the forest. I cannot burn the forest. And please help me in this regard. And Arjuna and Krishna said, okay. And they went on their chariot to the forest of Kandava. And Agni started to consume the forest, as many times he tried before. But then Indra again sent rain. But Arjuna created a roof over the forest by his arrows. Yes, so many arrows he shot that created a protective roof. So not a drop of rain fell on this forest. But because of the forest fire, many different animals tried to escape from the forest. but every animal that tried to escape the forest was killed mercilessly by Arjuna, shot dead. Yes. Yes. Uh, and then also there was a demon, Maya Dhanava, but he took shelter of Arjuna, so Arjuna spared his life. And in his gratefulness, he built an assembly hall for the Pandavas, which was a mystical one that could reveal who is favorable to the Pandavas and who is not. And there was humiliation of Duryodhana in this assembly hall, because if there was someone who was not favorable to the Pandavas, then he perceived the solid floor as water, and he lifted his garment when he was walking on the solid floor. But you missed, if you were against the Pandavas, you missed the water as the solid floor, so he fell into the water. and everyone laughed, except Yudhishthira, and he said, don't laugh, but Krishna encouraged him to laugh because he wanted the war to happen. And he encouraged him, yes, with his eyes, movements of his eyebrows, yes, laugh. and Draupadi, she said, the blind man is also blind. The blind man's son is also blind. It was one of the most severe arrows into the heart of Duryodhana. And therefore he wanted to humiliate Draupadi by dragging her into the court and strip her naked. So, yes. And this is the next type of austerity of speech. Yes, it's very important, because our speech can hurt more than arrows. Yes, they can go deeper than arrows. Yes. And satyam, which is also one of the legs of dharma, is included in the austerity of speech. Yes. Anudvega karamvakyam satyam priya hitochayat. Yeah. So the ayabhyasana cheva vanmayam tapa uchite. The austerity of speech is to speak pleasing words, not to disturb anyone, and to speak, of course, truthful, to be truthful, and beneficial words. Yes. So we can see that all austerities are based on tapa, on austerity. And therefore also Rishabhadev, in 5th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, he instructed his sons to engage in tapa. Tapo divyam putra kena satvam shuddhyet tasmat brahma sokyam tvanantam. Only by austerity we can achieve brahma sokyam tvanantam, unlimited spiritual bliss. Yes. So, and we can see in modern world there is no tapa. No one is fond of austerities. But Prabhupada established the most perfect kind of austerity. Yes, and this is the process of devotional service. Chanting, dancing, feasting. This is our austerity. And fasting for Ekadashis. Yes, tomorrow is Ekadashi. So you have an opportunity to perform this type of austerity, which is very pleasing to the Lord. And explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Raghavartma Chandrika, it's one of the means to achieve Raga Bhakti, to always remember Krishna. Yes, it's following Ekadashi Vrata. So our austerities shouldn't be performed for some personal selfish goal, but for pleasing Krishna and Vaishnavas, then we achieve all perfection by performing our austerities. And austerity is to realize that this process of Krishna consciousness is everything about consciousness. It's not about the ritual. Prabhupada didn't establish the Krishna ritual society, but Krishna consciousness society, for Krishna consciousness. Yes. It's really important to understand this, because many times we think that we can chant not so focused. For example, because chanting is the most important activity in our devotional service. This is the only spiritual vow we take before our spiritual master. Yes. These four regulative principles are vows that will give up sinful life. But only spiritual vow is to chant at least 16 rounds without offense. So we should know very well what are the 10 offenses. We repeat them usually in the morning after Mangalarati. But we should know deeply the meaning of these offenses. So if we turn to Krishna with the idea, please help me to achieve this or that, this is the offense, because we use the holy name as something that can help us to materially prosper. Yes. This is one of the offenses. So if I ask Krishna for even for good relationship in my family, or to have prosperous home and to be healthy, it's all offense, because the holy name is not meant for this. It's meant to give us prema. This is the purpose of chanting the holy name, is to develop pure love of Krishna, not to be materially happy. Of course, this is a side effect of chanting the holy names, is that you are always happy. Therefore, Prabhupada said, chant and be happy. Not that we are miserable. Our goal is not to be miserable. Of course, our goal is that everyone should be happy. Sarve sukhino bhavantu. This is our goal, that everyone should be happy. Yes, but we should know that our happiness is completely dependent on Krishna's happiness. Yes. If you make Krishna happy, then everyone is happy. And to be materially attached is one of the offenses to the holy name. Yes. And to be distracted during our japa. So I advise you that during your japa, never look in your phone. Switch off your phones, and no sound should come from the phone, and put it in another room and lock it and throw the key away. At least for during your japa. Yes. You shouldn't be tempted by this ultimate distractor of Kali Yuga, the phone. And don't talk during your japa to other people. Yes, other devotees or anything, because this is our only connection to Krishna, really. And if we don't go deep in our chanting, japa, we cannot connect even during kirtan, really. Because if we go deep in our japa, we can connect with Krishna also in kirtan. Otherwise, kirtan can be entertainment, but we will not connect really deeply with Krishna. So they are interconnected, and if we connect with Krishna during kirtan, we can go more deeply in our chanting also. Yes, so it's really important to be present during kirtan, not to be empty-minded, that our mind would be somewhere else. And also the same during our japa, we should go deep. And this is our tapodivyam, our austerity, and this is the foremost leg of religion. Yes, austerity. And we can see that when anyone in our Shastra wanted to achieve any good, he performed austerities before. Yes. For example, Prachetas, they satisfied the Lord by great austerities and cooperating with each other very nicely. So cooperating with each other in Kali Yuga is also an austerity. Yes. Yes. There was one Christian saint. He said that it's much easier to live in the jungle amongst the ferocious beasts than with my brothers in the convent. Yes. So to cooperate nicely with devotees is also an austerity, and it's very pleasing to Krishna. Very pleasing to Krishna. Yes. And in modern days, we can see that lack of austerity leads to so many sufferings, because people will think, or usually they think, that everything is meant for my personal pleasure and enjoyment. Yes. The marriage is meant for my personal pleasure and enjoyment. If I join the ashram, it's meant for my personal pleasure and enjoyment. If I become a sannyasi, it's for my personal pleasure and enjoyment. If you think like this, then we'll definitely suffer. If we enter grihastha life with this idea, this is for my personal pleasure and enjoyment, we'll definitely suffer. We'll definitely suffer. We should know that every social position is meant for sacrifice. It's sacrifice. Sacrifice for Krishna's pleasure. Also, brahmachari, if he thinks that I will have easy life, he will suffer. Yes. And if a grihastha thinks that I will enjoy and no one will be my boss, he'll suffer. Definitely. Yes. So we should perform our duties according to our social role. We shouldn't identify with this. Sarvopadi nirmuktam tatparatvina nirmalam krishikina krishikisha sivanam bhaktiruchati. Yes. We shouldn't identify, yes, I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm a brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi. But we should live according to our social role. We should, this is our service to Krishna. And we apply a mission according to our social role. As a father, or mother, or woman, or man, or brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, or sannyasi. Yes. And our foremost mission in every type of social position is to spread this Krishna consciousness movement. Yes. This is the personal request of Lord Chaitanya, yes, to help him to spread these fruits of love of God to everyone. So, if we are brahmacharis, we should prepare by deeply studying our shastra, which are full of these fruits of love of God, that we can share this later on. If we are grihasthas, our foremost mission is not to make money. This is maybe one of our duties, in Grihastha life, but it's not our mission. Our mission is to make our family Krishna conscious. This is our foremost mission. To be Krishna conscious ourselves, first, of course, and then to make our family Krishna conscious. Yes, this is our foremost mission in Grihastha. If you think that I will take care of my family with making money and giving them good facilities for study, for social welfare, everything beneficial for their material life, we are wrong. We're definitely wrong. And we put our dependence on the lap of death. Yes. This is like a murderer. We think that we are benefactor, but actually we are a murderer of our dependents. Yes. So our mission is to make our family Krishna conscious. Yes. This is our mission. And of course, if we are vanaprastha, we try to get detached from these social entanglements, and then to start sharing this treasure of Krishna consciousness with others. And if you are sannyasis, our only goal in life is to go out and preach and give these blessings to all humanity. Hare Krishna. So I invite you to go deep in your tapodivyam, in your austerity, to establish these 4 principles of religion in your life, which is based on austerity. Austerity to please Krishna, yes, which is full of pleasure, of course. Then we are enveloped in happiness, as explained by Prahlad Maharaj. Yes, if we don't seek for personal happiness and pleasure, but if we seek the service to Krishna and Vaishnavas and to all humanity, actually. Hare Krishna. Is there any comment or question? Yes, please.
I've heard this.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
I've heard this term, austerity is not a limb of bhakti. Is this how does that apply to?
No, it is not. And faith is also not a limb of bhakti. But our bhakti depends on faith. Yes. Because everything depends on faith, for example. Even if you want to search in the path of jnana, we have to have faith in jnana. But this is not the only request for the path of jnana. For example, if you want to follow the path of jnana, you should first take sannyas. It's a prerequisite for jnana. But for bhakti, there is only faith. And if you want to be a scientist and you study in university, you have to put faith in your teachers and so on. So, like faith, also austerity is not part of bhakti herself, Bhakti Devi, but it's a way of practicing bhakti. This consciousness, it's not for my pleasure, it's for Krishna's pleasure. Yes. You understand? And then if we put ourselves out of the center, this is severe austerity in material world, because it's the life in material world is centered on us, because we want to occupy the Lord's position. And as soon as we try to remove ourselves from the center, it's as an austerity. Yes. So it's a state of consciousness, but it's not the part of bhakti. It's not a part of bhakti.
So if I understand properly, so we're not looking for austerity. We're looking to please the Lord, but just the fact that we're taking ourselves out of the center, that's the austerity that comes.
Yes, yes. We shouldn't focus on performing austerity. We should focus on pleasing Krishna. Yes. Thank you for bringing this out, because we can misunderstand easily, and then our focus becomes austerity, for example, or something else, or to be good to other people, or something else is the center of our focus. Our center of our focus should be Krishna, and this is austerity itself. It's not a separate endeavor for austerity. There shouldn't be any separate endeavor. For example, learning these techniques of good behavior to achieve your goals is also is a cheating actually. Because if you separate these techniques from bhakti, from serving Krishna, it's just cheating. Yes, because I want to achieve certain goal, and I apply these techniques to achieve my certain goals, for my pleasure, of course, even if I want perfect harmonious society. If it's separate from serving Krishna, it's just selfish. It's in mode of goodness maybe, but it's material, and therefore binding in this material world. So thank you for bringing this up. It's very important to have proper understanding that nothing is done just for this sake of austerity or sake of any other goal. Just should be done with in Krishna's pleasure in mind. Yes, and serving Guru, Krishna and the Vaishnavas. Yes. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You mentioned in your class that tomorrow is Ekadashi.
Yes.
And I just wanted to request some guidance from you. One of the mantras which is often chanted is, and I believe it comes from Srila Prabhupada himself, fasting means feasting. And often on Ekadashi day, it means the Goranga potatoes come out, it's very opulent, and devotees even have a tendency to eat more on Ekadashi than they would on a normal day. So I guess my question is that okay, or what should be our goal? How can we be better devotees during Ekadashi Vrat?
Hare Krishna. I just read a commentary or essay actually of Bhaktivinoda Thakur on Upadeshamrita. And he explains there also, because in Upadeshamrita, in the first verse of Upadeshamrita, it says, amongst other things, is Jihva Vegam, is desire to taste. And in the second verse, it says Atyahara, to eat too much. Or collect too much. It's destroying our devotional service. And he explains that, of course, we shouldn't overeat, and the Ekadashis are meant to completely focus on Shravanam Kirtanam, Smaranam. This is the purpose of Ekadashi. That we put aside our material things in life, even if we are grihastas, and just focus on Shravanam Kirtanam and Smaranam. As this is the purpose of Ekadashi. And ideally, you don't engage in any bodily activity. That means you skip eating and drinking altogether, and therefore, if you skip this, you don't go to the toilet so much also. So you have time to immerse yourself in your bhajan, This is the purpose of Ekadashi. But if you cannot take such austerities to completely fast, then you can take something very simple, that you wouldn't be disturbed by your hunger and thirst in your bhajan. So, but at least don't take grains and beans. This is the last stage. But everything is meant for good bhajan. So, Prabhupada emphasized this enjoying prasad for those who are new in bhakti yoga, because in Kali Yuga people are addicted to material enjoyments, and so if they try to give up material enjoyments, they had to have some replacement. And tasty prasad, of course, is perfect replacement. And because during Ekadashis there is this austerity that we don't at least eat grains and beans, that there is some opulent prasad that can satisfy our tongue and mind. But when we are growing in our spiritual life, we should try to understand the purpose of everything we do, and of everything in our devotional service. So the purpose of Ekadashi is to go deep in your bhajan, in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, and to give aside our bodily needs as much as possible. Yes. This is the purpose of Ekadashi. So yes, nothing is the same for everyone. So one can fast completely and keep vigilance during the night, but others can hardly sustain their life for this day, even on Gauranga potatoes. So we should be honest with ourselves, and realize what is the purpose of different festivals and Ekadashis and so on. Is this okay? Hare Krishna. Anything else? Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Pramanandi. Please accept my humble